Welcome back everyone to another technical analysis, and today we're taking a look at the Raydium coin. Now, first things first, there is a really huge CME gap that has been formed in the beginning of this year, at the end of the January basically, that left this huge weakened gap here. And right now, or since then basically, price has been in some kind of an accumulation area. So let's mark it like this. And what we can say now, as we see that overall, ideally we should fill this CME gap here, hopefully. And if we zoom out, we can see that it can be done very easily because, okay, that's an old idea here, but we are in the pretty lows of the Ray coin. So having this push to this local resistance zone, which would ideally fill also this CME gap, seems more than realistic. Now, the only thing is the entry point here. Now, if we would go into an entry from current market price, stop loss would be somewhere around here, I would call it. So 6% of market price movement, and target wouldn't be so huge, but rather somewhere in this region. So filling this liquidity gap here, and maybe slightly also filling, not fully, the CME gap. So risk and reward ratio is 1 to 2 in this case. Now, the most ideal setup would be, of course, spreading the entry zones and also target areas here. So first things first entry would be, of course, here. Let's say 0.5%, again 0.5% here, and final 0.5% would be here. So 3 points of entry with the targets being this area here. Let's mark it as this zone. Then this area here, slightly above the previous fill of the CME gap, and then eventually I would put something like this, and finally this area here. So wouldn't aim for this major uppish zone here. So 32.6% of market price movement is the move that we are expecting to see on the Raydium coin. Now, going to remove all the things once again and just keeping let's not keep even nothing. So on the bigger time frames, hence the 4-hour time frame, expected to see some kind of recovery on the Raydium coin. Now, if we go to the smaller time frames, we are opening and seeing that there is still this CME gap that hasn't been filled, where most of the CME gaps lately have been filled. You can see all of them have been filled and not a single one hasn't been left unfilled. So as we are in this smaller uptrend here, would be looking for a smaller entry across here, targeting this CME gap first and then the local high area, with the stop loss being this area here. So risk and reward ratio in this case is 1 to 2.2. For this setup, we need to see a proper breakout structure forming here. As soon as we see the proper breakout structure, and by the proper breakout structure, I'm referring to, let's say, this setup here, and like that. So this would be the same proper breakout structure zone, which means as soon as we get some kind of movement like this, it would be referred to the movement we are expecting to see here. So that's the ultimate ideal entry point for us for a long position, the short-term long position. Now, if we see the price break down from this local low area here on the smaller time frames, 30-minute time frame, then we would be open for some kind of smaller short position with the setup looking like this. One stop loss should be somewhere here, and target would be somewhere here. So risk and reward ratio in this case, actually I wouldn't keep stop loss so high. Depends how we go and feel down this breakdown here, but I think the stop loss would be somewhere here. It depends on the structure of the candle's highlight. So still the risk and reward ratio is like 1 to 1 or 1 to 1.5. So not the greatest one, but that's the play that we can be looked for if we see the breakdown from here. But as of now, waiting for the breakout. As soon as we get the breakout, we can be looking for some kind of decent long position, with the first target being this area here. So risk and reward ratio is 1 to 3, and then ultimate target would be this, so $0.71. And now if we zoom out, we see, okay, that won't do much, but if we zoom in on the 4-hour time frame, we see that we've been having some kind of bullish trend here. So after this bigger liquidity grab, eventually we had to see a further downside movement. If it would have been a continuation to the bearish cycle, but as buyers went for another liquidity grab, correction liquidity grab, then what happened is we formed a local resistance zone here, and then formed a smaller trend area here, which is this zone here. So that's the plan for the Ray coin. Expecting to see the breakout from here. As soon as we get this breakout, we're going to look for some kind of long position, but as of now, all we have to do is just wait, or all we can do is just wait. So that's the plan. Anyways, that's it for today. As always, if you like this video, feel free to leave a comment, and I'll catch you in the next video.